It's a good day to have a good day. Hello, everybody. My name's Cece Ray. Thank you for joining me. We are recapping The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 14, Episode 2. Before we get into this, I hate to get into this, but there's no other choice. There is still a lot of clatter on social media coming from Melissa's old nose, who is Gabriella. Listen, I hate to tell you this, people, but I have a good feeling she is telling the truth. Now, why do I think that? Not just instinct. This chick is bringing all the receipts. I mean, all of them. Emails, docs, text messages, like screenshots. And, you people out there who are like, oh, anybody can like put that together. No. This chick is telling the truth. And I'm also going to give you a little insight of why I think that too. So, she did another podcast with Chrissy Balls over on Pop Culture with Balls. If you want to go over there and check it out, it's excellent. And they did that ahead of this episode. Okay? Yep. She knew exactly what was going to go down on this episode, people. And she's not telepathic. And she's bringing receipts with it. So, it's just disgusting. It really is. And really, the fans who really love the Real Housewives franchises, it's really giving them a different light. Now they're looking at all the other franchises. Like, is this going on? Is this going on? I don't think so. I mean, maybe a tad bit, but not as dark and sinister as allegedly some of these people on the cast have made it. Also, Gabriella did another podcast with Dana Wilkie. Make sure you check that out. She is explaining the situation between Michelle Pfeiffer and Teresa Giudice and Louis and Namaste Bitches. Now, get this. She ran, that's right, Gabriella, ran their Instagram for Namaste Bitches. Yup. So trust me, this girl was in it. She was definitely in it. Now, I heard Kim D say, and I love Kim D, by the way, check her out. I heard Kim D say she's a rat. So she's not going to believe anything she says, basically, because she's a rat. Well, okay. She did do a flip. And so, yeah, you can call her a rat. But it's a rat that's telling the truth, people. To the point that now we know that none of the cast members are getting any screeners to see the show ahead of time. That's right. We also know, I hate to tell you this, but a little birdie chirped in my ear about this, that Bravo has basically, put out there that all the franchises are being renewed, but New Jersey is not on that list. So what's going to happen? Are we going to go on a long pause till they figure out what to do? Are they going to pause them and reboot them like they did New York? They might have to. But from everything that has happened, everything that has come out, and don't get it twisted, Bravo knows it all. Let's just put it this way. New Jersey is definitely not going to be the same after this season. That's my opinion. But before we get into recapping this episode, you know what to do. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because here we break the dish. Okay, everybody, we are recapping The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 14, Episode 2. And let's get into it, shall we? So it opens up with Danielle, and they are doing a photo shoot for Valentina. I mean, this little girl is adorable. I mean, just want to just grab her and eat her up alive. Danielle is explaining how they have now signed with an agent for her. She hasn't had headshots since she was 2, so they are getting new shots for her. And while they're there, we find out that Danielle has been invited to the New York fashion show. Fashion Week, that is, not fashion show, I'm sorry. New York's Fashion Week, which is a huge deal, by the way. Bougie Kids is going to be there. And, you know, it is a huge deal. You know, she's reflecting how she started this time last year, you know, basically with a pop-up shop. And now she's being invited to New York Fashion Week. That just shows you what happens when you are a housewife. I mean, the exposure is huge. And if you use it, you can definitely do well. They're also talking about how they're having a celebration for Nate. You know, he had brain surgery. It has been, I think it was 6 years since he had brain surgery. So they're having a huge party for him down at the shore. It's called Nate's Celebration for Life Party. And so she's hoping that everybody does well. She feels like she's the one that's in middle ground for everyone. She's getting along basically with everybody. I don't think that lasts long. And so then she starts saying how, you know, her mom's doing great, but she is not speaking with her father. Remember, in the reunion, we found out that her brother had a baby, and she sent them a baby gift, and it was returned. I think her father, we know, is in touch, has a relationship with her brother. So she probably gave the gift to the father gave it to them, and he returned the gift. And what she's saying is she wishes that her father would have stood up for her and was like, listen, you know, she's trying, she sent you a baby gift, I'm not going to take it back. But instead he didn't. Now, we don't know the whole story. There's always, you know, his side, her side, and the truth lies in the middle. But what we do know is she's not speaking to her father right now. But she did say that Nate and the kids still have a relationship with him, and she will not take that away. So is it permanent? I think they'll start talking eventually. Then we see Dolores and Paulie. Dolores is getting ready to show a house. She's gone back into real estate. She's explaining how this is very natural to her because her and her ex-husband there, Frank, used to flip houses all the time. So this is something that she's really, you know, comes natural to. Also, she likes the independence, obviously. She also is explaining how, you know, how she likes people to trust her. And then she goes on to say, you know, but there's no trust in this group. Nobody trusts anybody. Well, yeah, I wonder why. And hello, Switzerland. You're not doing yourself any favors, I don't think, this season. I just have a funny feeling about that. And then, of course, you know, Paulie's like, you know, yeah, I don't know why the Italians get so offended. Did you see the way that you looked at that party and sounded? I mean, just saying, Paulie, I like you, but you were a little off. So I don't think it has anything to do with Italians. But then they're talking about going to Nate's party down the shore. Then we see Teresa and Louis. They are talking about how Louis's dad is celebrating 8 years sober. So with this organization, they're having a huge celebration for him. And Teresa's talking about how, he's the best father-in-law you could ever ask for. Then they start talking about they're going to be going to Jen's for the day. Then they're going to be attending the party down the shore for Nate. And then they have to come right back for Gabriella because she is leaving for college. She's going to Michigan State. And then, of course, Teresa puts in, I'm not going to say anything to Margaret. The legal issues. I just can't. But I can't wait for the whole world to see, we're going to be vindicated. Do you know how many, every single season, Teresa's like, I'm going to be vindicated. You're going to see. And it doesn't turn out that way. I'm sorry, tree huggers. I know you're like, the Queen of Bravo type deal, but no, it does not turn out that way. And I have a feeling it's not going to turn out that way this time either. And she says to Louis, when people want to get a rise out of them, it just goes in one ear and out the other. Because they're not like that. Anyway, then we see Melissa. They are having a big dinner with her family, celebrating Antonia's 18th birthday. She's such a beautiful girl. And, Melissa starts going on to this, description of her C-section, which is like the way she's describing it. It's like, TMI, Melissa, like seriously. But it was so funny because her mother remembers Joe coming out of the delivery room. She said he's covered in hives. Remember, this is their first one, this firstborn. And he's like, oh my God, it's a girl. Like, what am I going to do with a girl? Which I could see. You know what I mean? Like, I could definitely see that. And that was kind of cute. And then, of course, I think it's her brother. Don't quote me. But I think it's her brother who is getting married to his partner. They've asked Joe to actually officiate it. And Melissa's saying, like, thanking them for, like, basically, having a role for him within the family and embracing him. And, I think it's her brother. And he says, when he first came out, Joe was the first one he came out to. And Joe was loving and accepting, and, he'll never forget that. And basically, that's why they're asking to officiate their wedding. But, Melissa's family has always embraced Joe. They don't judge him. They really do have, really love for him. I mean, you can see it. You know what I mean? Over the years, you can even see it. And Joe was saying, like, he loves that. He's thankful for that. But it's bittersweet when he thinks of his family, because it was never like that, which is true. Then we see Teresa, Danielle, and Jennifer Aiden. Teresa's had like a spa thing set up so that they can get sculpted. And I think it's called M-Sculpt. It's like they're going to be doing their glutes. They're sculpting glutes for this. And it's kind of like doing 50,000 squats without actually doing it. It's actually a little bit on the painful side. I think Jen mentioned that she needs laughing gas in order to be able to get through it because it's so painful. But that did not stop Jen from bringing up, again, Jen Fuda and what he likes to do in the bedroom, according to his ex. And of course, Jen's like, oh, no judgment. I mean, whatever you want to do in the bedroom, and that's up to you, like, again, planting that seed exactly the way Gabriella from Melissa's Old Nose said it was going to be. Now, it's a shame in a way that, they've allegedly gone to this extreme with people on social media to, go after cast members come on. Like, seriously. And now we actually know what's going to happen in each episode without even watching it because of what they've done. I mean, it's just because they pushed the narrative. They planned the season. Instead of it being organic, instead of like all these groups of women, friends getting together and, organically letting things happen. I mean, you put a group of women together, it's not always going to be, birds singing in hearts. And they couldn't do that because, God forbid, that Teresa didn't have a storyline to keep her set. So that's just that. Then you see Margaret and Rachel, Melissa. They're playing pickleball. Rachel also is explaining that, which is we all probably didn't know. She was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis at a very young age. She actually had 2 hip replacements by the age of 18. That's crazy. And that really hits home with me. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to have a hip replacement in June. I'm petrified. And it was something that came right out of the blue. But that hits home for me to think that she did this by the time she was 18, and here I am. I'm young to even still have to have a hip replacement, but there's other, things that are going on that's causing me to have one, but still, I'm petrified. And she did too. It's crazy. And then also, she starts talking about how her mom picked up her grandchild, and this is Melissa, not Rachel. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Rachel. Her mom, was it Rachel or Melissa? No, it was Melissa's mom. Melissa's mom picked up her grandchild and fell and broke her elbow. Listen, I could see that happening. I have a grandchild, and when you, especially when they're little, and you've got them, and you see yourself falling. I mean, you're going to hold on to that grandchild. Nothing's going to happen to that child, but you're going to get injured, and that's exactly what happened with her mother. So it's quite interesting, And so now we're back to Danielle, and Danielle is like hoping that everyone is good. That she's going to be staying with Rachel at the shore. Margaret asks what was the whole thing that happened at the party, what basically Teresa was saying. And they're explaining that 20 years ago, this is when he was John Fuda was 17 years old. He was arrested for possession of marijuana. And then it was dismissed, by the way. I saw the court documents. Not what Teresa is saying, like he's the biggest drug dealer in Bergen County. That's not it at all. Think about it, people. Just take 1 second. Okay, we're going to be silent for 1 second. And I want you to think about what you were doing and what you were like at the age of 17. Ready? Go. Now, think about your life now. Seriously. It's nothing like you were 17, I'm imagining. Mine certainly isn't, I can tell you that. And I mean, his isn't either. He's got a family. He's built businesses. I mean, he does a lot of charity work. But this is the storyline that Teresa was going with. And how do we know that? Thanks, Gabriella from Melissa's Old Nose. So Margaret was saying basically that was disgusting for Teresa to even bring it up, which is true, by the way. And that she has nothing to say to Teresa. Then she was asking if they were inviting Jen Aiden to Joe Gorga's birthday party. She's asking, and I don't think they did, but Joe says, he kind of misses Bill. All the guys really get along. They really do for the most part. I know some people are like, get the guys off the show. It's the Housewives, not the house husbands. But on this franchise, we like watching the husbands too. You know what I mean? At least I do. And Jen Fessler is saying, that, Rachel's actually talking about Jen Fessler, about how she thinks it's unfathomable that Jen Fessler wants to be friends with Teresa. And Jen Fessler's like, she plays dirty. And Danielle is explaining how she's enjoying her friendship with Rachel. And how, she's just hoping that everybody's going to be cool tonight at this party. Yeah, and Joe's like, hopefully nobody pushes me. Yikes. Because everybody is now down at the shore. So, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I'm recapping the show for you all, but, with everything that's happened with social media, I'm just flabbergasted. Sometimes I'm speechless. I'm assuming you are too. I've been such a fan, obviously, of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I have watched them since day one. I don't think there was a cast better than the original. It was organic. Yeah, they had their issues. They had their problems. But I mean, even Carlos King came out and said that he was under the table. He was the one that slipped the book up on the table when Danielle Staub, all of a sudden she had the book in her hands, remember the book? And that he was like, basically, the table flip wouldn't have happened if he wasn't underneath the table. Yeah. So, yeah. Of course, production is in the midst of this. You have to remember, it's a reality show. But for the most part, everything was organic and real. And these were real families and real friends. And, that's what they need again. You see what I'm saying? Real family, real friends. That's what I'm thinking. But before we go on, take a look at this. Hi everybody, it's Cece Ray here, and today I want to talk to you about vaginal dryness. No, I'm not going to talk to you about vaginal dryness, but what I do want to talk to you about is vacation. Vacation's all I ever wanted. Okay, I digress. However, vacation, whether you are planning a family vacation or maybe a weekend getaway with the girls, or in my case, the bittersweet drop-off day of my daughters at college. Need a place to stay for that. But what I can tell you is how to find the lowest rates. And no, it's not some big system. It's literally one step. Ready? Go to familypalette.com. The link is listed below. Scroll down to book your vacation.
put in your destination. It's going to take you over to Hotels Combined. They have an entire list, not just one or two, the entire list that is out there of low rates. I'm not playing. If I'm not traveling for a client, I am always using this. I'm not joking, because it gives me the lowest rates. I also like their filter system. Maybe I want a restaurant. Maybe I want to make sure there's a fitness center. You can put all that in there. Maybe you're going to a wedding and you want to see how far away the hotel is from that event. You can do that. Yes, you can. So it is so simple. Why pay the extra money? Keep it in your pocket for fun and exciting things to do. You know what I mean? I mean, what do you got to lose? Just try it, right? FamilyPalette.com. Scroll down to book your vacation. Put in your destination. It's going to take you over to Hotels Combined. I'm telling you, you're going to thank me. Make sure you let me know where you're going. And by the way, have fun and safe travels.
We're back recapping The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 14, Episode 2. We are now at Nate's celebration of life party. And we're not there yet. Everybody's in the car. Now, this is the funny thing. So in Teresa's car, she is talking about how wonderful Louis' family is, the best family in the whole world. And of course, Dolores is chiming in. I love Dolores, but sometimes when she does things like this, it just irks me. Dolores is like, well, you always wanted a big family. And Teresa's like, yeah, this is like the best. And Dolores is like, well, you deserve it. Then Melissa, however, is in her van and she's talking about her family, and how, they've always been accepting and loving of Joe and just treated him like part of the family, not like, a husband to her, And they've even asked him to officiate the wedding. Then we are in Danielle and Rachel's car, and Danielle is explaining that why she didn't invite Jackie. And she's like, do you think that's going to be a problem? And Rachel's like, yeah. Then they get to the party and Danielle introduces her friend Tiffany. Now, Tiffany's beautiful. The way this introduction is happening, I feel like she may be a friend of, maybe even that window would have been opening for her to even be a housewife, possibly. But I'm not sure that's going to happen now after everything that's happened and everything that has come out on social media, like I explained before. Margaret is explaining to her about how there's a lot of tension within the group. And then this is the funny part. So Teresa walks in. Now you have to remember, Teresa and Melissa have not seen each other since the reunion, right? And what went down at the reunion? Teresa saying, I'm never going to see you again because you're going to be fired. Surprise, Teresa. Melissa didn't get fired. So Melissa is sitting on the sofa and she sees, Teresa go by and she's like, hi, how are you? And I know some of you tree huggers are like, ugh, she's disgusting. Look at the way, what she's doing. Let her have her moment. I mean, really, let her have her moment. Teresa thought she knew better. She thought she was in control and she wasn't. So just let the girl have her moment. That's all she's doing. A moment. And then Jen Fuda is saying how, he's not going to be engaging tonight. Nate starts explaining what happened, that he had a cyst on his brain. I mean, he couldn't walk. I don't even know if he could talk. I mean, Danielle was saying, he would just stare at her. And, but once they did brain surgery, within a week, he was back to normal. So that's what he's explaining. And then they had this musical group performing from Washington, D.C. And then we see Jen Aiden with her lovely pop pen, because apparently she goes everywhere with a pop pen. So she has her pop pen, and Jen Fessler is like, can I have your pop pen? Well, can I take it with me because Teresa wants to talk to me? And we know what Teresa's doing. So Teresa takes Jen Fessler to the side, and she asks her about the meeting that the cast had before the reunion. And Jen Fessler was like, yeah. She tells who was all there. She was like, they were prepping for Louis to have info because he had, a private investigator investigate everyone. She starts saying, that Margaret was going to pull out the paperwork about the phone call against her son. But then in her interview, she says, I don't even think that happened. Jen Fessler, yes, it did. Then Teresa asks about, there's a couple people that heard you say that you didn't execute the plan correctly. Jen Fessler says, no, I never said that. But what I did say was basically to John Fuda, like, why didn't you pull whatever was in the manila envelope out? Now, do I believe Jen Fessler? Just 2 minutes ago, you were like, Margaret never even talked about the phone call to her son, which she did. And let's be real, that's not alleged. There was a police report. Louis did it. According to the police report, that's not alleged. I just heard Margaret actually talking on Jeff Lewis Live. And she was talking about this, and she was saying, like, she doesn't want to really bring it up anymore because obviously her son has probably asked her not to. He doesn't want to put too much attention to it. And I get it because her son's private and he has his own job, and she's trying to respect that. He's not on the reality show. He didn't ask for any of this. You know what I mean? Anyway, so Jen Fessler is in her interview, she's saying how much she likes Teresa, and if that makes her disloyal, then, like, basically so be it. Okay? But this episode ends with Rachel Fuda. She's watching Jen Fessler through this whole party and the way she's talking to Teresa. And she starts explaining how, Jen Fessler was like her ride or die. And maybe she should have known better. Very telling. You know what I mean? Now, we do know, thanks to Gabriella from Melissa's Old Nose, that Teresa might have thought she won the war, but that she just won the battle. She didn't win the war because eventually James Leonard, Melissa's attorney, is going to drop a bomb in front of the whole cast, and Jen Fessler doesn't show up because out of loyalty to Margaret, there's been several people who have said they are good friends. They've been friends for years, way before Margaret was even on the show. And do I think that Jen Fessler is kind of trying to be a little bit of a Switzerland so that she can get the housewife role instead of a friend of? Yeah, of course. Listen, she gave us a lot last year. She went through a huge makeover. She doesn't even look like the same person. And which is typically of what a housewife might do. You know what I mean? And so I don't know why they don't make her a housewife, because she deserves it. With that being said, though, I'm not quite sure she's ever going to be a housewife because, like I said, I'm not sure New Jersey's going to be returning. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's my opinion. But what did you think of this episode? I always want to hear your comments, your thoughts, whether you agree with me, disagree with me. Remember what I always say, that's what makes the world go round. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because here we break the dish.